She has a really great story, and you built your van.
I did.
Basically do all of it entirely yourself?
Pretty much. I'd say
much.
90%.
Wow. And so, there's a tendency to think that, well, I'm a woman, I can't do things, and you can. We're finding out the truth here, the awful truth that women are completely capable of doing anything they want.
Yes.
If they set their minds to it.
Yes.
And you're not a master carpenter or anything.
No.
You're just a lady who decided to do a job and did it.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you a full-timer, part-timer?
Well, I'm not a full-timer. I have thoughts about it. And so when I set out to do this, I set my intention to buy a van and do some traveling, primarily in my own state, because it's a place I've lived a long time but never traveled through very much. And I wanted to set my van up so that I could live in it. That's how I started my design, and I was careful to put it on paper so that I could understand what I was doing, right down to measuring bins and making sure that bed heights would accommodate bins and that my kitchen counter would accommodate plastic drawers under it and things like that. So I was pretty specific about what I wanted and how I was going to accomplish it. Everything in this so far is a trade-off.
Right.
Whether it's buying equipment or even making travel plans or building the design, there's always a trade-off or a decision that has to be made that's going to give me more of what I want and less of what I don't want, whereas you might have chosen the other way around for yourself.
Right, exactly. What's important to me isn't to you and vice versa.
Right.
So you just build it for yourself, and that's the plus of building it yourself, is you get what you want.
Well, I also have a husband, and he's 6 foot tall, and so I wanted to make sure I got a high top.
Right.
And that he could stand up in. And I wanted to make sure that my bed design system would accommodate both of us when we're together and just myself when I'm alone.
Right. And so does husband travel with you quite a bit?
He is traveling with me more and more. He was a little bit reticent at first, and but supported me fully in wanting to travel, and so he's joining me when he can. Mm-hmm. And that seems to be more and more.
Well, this is actually, in my experience, I meet a lot of van dwellers and RVers, and it's surprisingly common that the husband wants to stay home and the wife is the adventurous one. Have you run into many others yourself?
My theory would be that it's because women tend to be the caretakers a lot, and then by this time in our lives, we're ready to get out the door.
Right.
And not let anybody stand in our way.
Right.
So, I don't know if that's true, but...
I think that is very true. You spend your life taking care of other people, now it's your turn.
Yeah.
And I personally think that is 100% right attitude to take. It's your turn.
Yeah, and then I didn't want to do it in a selfish way, but
right.
in a mindful way.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's got to be a compromise there, mm-hmm. Between the husband and wife, and sometimes the compromise works, and sometimes it doesn't, and then you have to make some hard choices.
Yep.
And you face those.
Yeah, well, no, for me, it's the compromise is working very well.
Right.
Very, very well. I can go and not feel like I'm abandoning anything, the home or the husband, and it's working out great.
Great. That's really good. And so you are a solo traveler a few months a year, would you say? Mm-hmm. And a single woman in a van, and that must have given you some pause in the beginning.
In the beginning, it was pretty hilarious to try to figure out how I could be safe alone at night, and it was a matter of physically setting up my little security things around me, even to the point of a big rock.
Yeah.
And on my table, by my bed, my glasses, my phone, my flashlight, my LED that would probably startle somebody who was trying to approach my van, and they'd turn around and run into the nearest tree, and that would do them in. But all of those things I thought about, and then the reality of it, Bob, was the first night I was out here, I was practicing my getaway routine,
right.
or what to do routine, if you hear that, and I couldn't find my glasses.
Uh-oh.
I couldn't couldn't find the flashlight, couldn't find the glasses. The glasses fell on the floor. The flashlight rolled down in the well of the van, and all I could do was just lay on my bed and laugh. I mean, it was ridiculous. But eventually I got it down, and now above each bed I have a carabiner. Each one has security. They have flashlights, they have mace, I don't have any bear spray yet, but I have an air horn, I have knives and whistles, over each bed.
Right. So you thought ahead and planned, and you did drills.
Yeah, you could say that.
Right.
Yeah, I tried.
Right.
I finally got it down.
And so, one of the biggest, really the only solution to fear is faith. And so you have faith in your preparation.
I do. I've done what I can. I don't see any reason why to worry about it now.
Right.
I don't see any reason to worry.
Right. And your experience, now you've got a base of experience that says, I'm really pretty safe.
Yeah, the first night that I went out on my own was actually not on my own. I went with a couple of other RTR friends who live near me, and they hung out with me for a night, and then they abandoned me the next morning.
They got you started.
They did. They said, hey, we're going to leave. See ya. I was like,
you can do it.
Yep.
Great. Well, those are good friends to have.
Yeah.
Those are good friends to have. And that's really kind of my whole goal with the RTR, Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, is you can come here and learn for your first night surrounded by people. And so that really is one of my primary goals here. And it worked out for you too, even though you weren't here.
Well, I think that it would be foolish for me to say I don't worry just for whatever. I just don't worry. I mean, I feel prepared enough to not worry. So that there's a fine distinction between just being carefree versus being knowledgeable and prepared and able to cope as best I can.
Right.
And how much more can we do?
How much anywhere can you do?
Where I live, I'm probably in more danger than I am out here.
Statistically, there's more crime, violent crime, in the cities than there is on public land, by far.
Yeah.
And a big plus to you and to everyone is probably part of why you chose a van. You can just jump in the front seat and drive away.
Right.
You're not hooked up to anything. You're not. You don't have well, you might have an awning out, but you can just, if you're scared, you can jump in the van and drive away.
Yeah, I'm spread out here because we're at RTR. I'm safe. There's no reason for me to be conscious at night about putting things away or being ready to go.
Right.
But in some places, I am quite conscious of that. And before I go to sleep, I make sure that if I need to get up, I'm not going to lose everything onto the floor or leave something important behind outside.
Right.
So there's a difference about where I camp, where I park.
So you have found a wonderful balance of a home life and a stationary life and a mobile life, and husband at home, and you're traveling and you feel safe, and you're growing as a person by all you're seeing and doing.
Yes,
you accomplish things.
Yes, I honestly, I set an intention that the next third, I don't want to say the final chapter, but the next third of my life is going to be full of adventure.
Right.
And growing. You bet.
Yeah.
Why not?
And this, you don't have to stop growing when you get older.
No, and you don't have to have a lot of money either.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
And you're living proof of all that.
Yep.
So that's really good. Well, you mentioned your camp outside. Why don't we take a quick look at your camp? So the van is tiny, and people ask me, how can you live in such a tiny space? And I always answer, well, yeah, the van is tiny, but look at the enormous backyard. And you have this huge, beautiful backyard, and so you live quite a bit outside with the van. And then when you can, you set up a nice camp.
Yes.
And you're in and out.
Yes.
And the van essentially becomes a bedroom.
Yes, that's true.
For now.
Bedroom or living room at night.
Right. But if you're on the move or bad weather, it becomes your home again.
It does. I'm completely set up to cook, read, sleep, bathe, anything inside.
You get a week of bad weather, you're still fine.
I'm fine.
Yeah. You got to park in a Walmart along the way,
fine.
You're fine.
Yep.
So you've really done your homework and made a great life for yourself here for a few months out of the year. Well, why don't we just take a quick look at your camp? And you did your complete install yourself?
I did.
Wow, electrical is scary for most people, male or female, young or old.
I spent probably a fair portion of the last year and a half or so studying it online and studying everybody's blogs, everybody's threads on the RTR site. on cheap RV living, and I would fall asleep over it. I got so confused. And I finally put it away for a few months and said, I just don't get this. And I'm one of those people who just can't absorb this kind of thing, but I can do a lot of things really well. This isn't one of them, but guess what? I did it. It works.
Yes.
Amazing.
And so you have a portable panel because you have a high top and the fiberglass van.
Right. My intention here, I picked up this particular panel because it was $1 a watt, not because it's 190 watts, but that's what it is. I'm hoping to set it up on the side of the van in a way that I can take it off if I want to and have it be portable. Because I do a lot of camping where I'd like to park in shade, or I end up parking in shade, and I would like to be able to move this around. So I will build a frame for it that I can set it up outside, and I will also put it on the side of the van and leave it there and tilt it out if I want to.
Mm-hmm. And then you just have a basic easy up awning, type awning.
Yeah, this is new. Picked it up cheap, so we thought we'd try it out. We'd never set one up before, and the first thing we did was bust one of these poles.
Oh, I see the duct tape there.
Yeah, that's 4 tent poles and some duct tape, folks. That works really well when you're in a pickle.
Okay, so we'll go inside now, and you'll show me the thing I'm most impressed with is probably your bed couch. So if you would demonstrate that for us.
Well, I will do a partial demonstration.
You won't go to sleep for us?
I won't go to sleep, and I
Okay.
won't pull it all the way out.
Okay.
But there are 2 bed frames here. They're all made out of 2x2. There's no 2x4. One is directly under the other. I put some channel down to keep these in place so that when I pull the bed in and out, it doesn't drive me crazy. And this is the second bed. It comes all the way over to this side of the van and creates an aisle in the middle so that we both can get up and walk to the other end of the van where we have our kitchen and bathroom. We're getting too old to crawl over one another, so that's why I designed it this way.
So essentially you built a bed frame and then underneath it a second one that can slide in and out.
In and out.
In and out.
And it comes all the way over, like I said, and then obviously it leaves a vulnerable spot in the middle of the upper bed. So right. I just have this, and I just force it in under the other bed, and it creates that center post.
And
no big deal.
So if it's just you alone, which it is a lot of the times,
yeah,
the second underneath bed is load bearing, and that's bears the center weight.
Yeah, correct.
Very simple, creative idea.
Very simple, and even my bed is only because I'm a little bit lighter than my husband. My platform is quite thin. I think it's 5/16, and then his is 3/4 ply on top.
So do you pull that bed out and that's what you sleep on?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you...
Well, I mean, no, when I'm alone, I just leave it like this.
Right, and sleep up on top.
This is a piece of foam rubber that I sliced partly through, and when I pull my bed out, this folds out and becomes my mattress.
Okay.
I sliced only partly through it so that it wouldn't separate on me in the middle of the night. I sliced partly through it so that I could fold it up and create this Davenport back.
Right.
And it sits in at a nice angle.
And so you have twin beds.
Twin beds.
And a couch.
And a couch.
And batting and everything for right here, both. That's
correct. And the reason that I chose to put it behind the driver's seat is, if you'll turn around, you'll see that I have a swivel base passenger seat, which I installed myself. And
where did you get the swivel base?
I bought it online, and I paid the full price for the real deal that fits this particular chair. I did not buy one of those $50 cheapos. So this reclines, and with a little footstool here, a person can spend a lot of hours on a computer or reading a book or taking a snooze or whatever. So I have essentially created a living room up in front.
Right. With a very open area. You don't feel crowded at all.
No, not in this configuration.
I'll just sit here. So here you're in your recliner, and it's a big open area.
Hey, Cody.
Oh, and do you want him out of here?
Oh no, that's fine.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So this is the rest of the rig. I've got an extended van, so it's a little longer than some folks.
Uh-huh.
And of course, I've got the high top.
Yeah, you've got like 6 inches above your head. Yeah.
Yep.
And husband is 6 foot,
Yeah.
and he can stand.
He can stand in the front half. It does tend to slope toward the end, and so he has to duck his head just a little bit down there.
Right.
And then, because this van was completely empty, naked I call it, I insulated it myself following your advice, Bob, with the poly-so foam board. In some places it's 2 inches or more thick because of the configuration, and in some places it's only a single sheet.
Is it a cargo van initially?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I think the insulation has helped a lot. I know that there's sometimes a debate on whether or not to have insulation. Personally, I think it's a great thing because when I do need the heat, it stays warm for quite a period of time before it cools down. I haven't experienced hot days in my travels so far, so I don't know what it will be like in hot weather, but I don't know why I would be in here in hot weather anyway.
Right.
I might be swimming.
Right.
Or fishing or something.
That's why you live on wheels.
Yeah. So, this is a privacy curtain, and right now it's covering some clothing, but right there creates a bathroom.
Mm-hmm. When there are 2 of you.
A great big one. Yep. Nice big bathroom back there, and that's why I put the sink back there as well, so that it doubles duty as a place to clean up or kitchen sink.
Right.
Stove goes here. All my tools are in these little drawers.
More plastic drawers.
More plastic drawers. But this is how easy it can be. I probably spent maybe 15, 20 bucks on this whole thing right here, including the wood. This is contact paper you can buy a roll of and slap on there, and then repair it with black tape.
Mm-hmm.
This is my more food over here, and there's my master bathroom.
So you just have a toilet there?
That's my luxury bucket toilet.
Okay, bucket toilet.
I'm lucky enough to have a folding camp toilet seat.
Oh, uh-huh.
Does that make sense? It's probably an old timer,
Oh, yes.
but it's makes things very comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And just use the bags.
Yep. Bags and sawdust.
Oh, sawdust right there, yeah.
Right there. Mr. Buddy, he's my buddy.
Keeps you nice and toasty.
Nice and toasty.
Especially with your insulation.
I suppose if I had the money, I would buy a Wave 3 because I hear they have thermostats and you don't have to keep running back and forth to the heater to turn it on and off.
Actually,
But-
they don't have a thermostat.
Oh, well, then I'm good with mine.
But they put out less heat, half the heat, and so you might could turn it on and leave it on and not have to mess with it.
I see.
That's the reason I really like them.
I gotcha. Yeah, the disadvantage with that is that but it's good exercise, right?
Yes. You need
And
something
then-
to do.
Yeah, and then we just recently added all these wonderful little gizmos.
Little storage to make up an unused area.
I mean, you can pick up one of these for like $11 or $12 and cut it into slices if you want, or I suppose you could hang it full length if you wanted to, but this works for us.
And the cargo net behind you there.
Cargo nets, thrift store, found them for a couple of bucks.
Hang things from a bungee cord.
These, as a lot of you already know, are those wonderful Luci Lights. They're solar. Once you buy them, they're free. Charge them up every day, or not even every day. I've never even seen them go dim. They are super. They will light everything. You can read by them, do fine needlepoint work if you like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're good.
And this particular high top has quite a few windows in it, and so you got a very open feeling in here.
I do. I love it.
Right.
Very, very cozy. Oh, another thing. You'll notice this counter is not full width.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see any reason to put in a full width counter in a van, so this is only about, I don't know, maybe 14 inches. A little over a foot.
And it'll hold your camp stove, which is your main concern.
Yeah. This is a salad bowl. I put a friend of mine jigsawed a hole in it, and we put that in there. I put that in there, and then it just fits into a bucket. You've probably seen a zillion of those. Mm-hmm. Works good.
Right. So you have a 5-gallon bucket or something under as a gray water tank.
Yep.
More
pockets.
More pockets.
And a back door. Getting
vertical space is really important, and you've done a lot of that with the pockets, the shoe pockets, and the cargo netting.
I preferred not to put in cupboards in the high top, so what you see as the wooden frame is in no way attached to the fiberglass whatsoever. It is simply attached to the roof line and to the window frames and the front cab over wood, and that's it. Otherwise, it's just freestanding, more or less.
And like a lot of high tops, you have a huge storage area over the cab over.
Yep.
And your reflectix for the windows up here is stored.
Yep. I have a complete bin of auto gear, supplies, and tools under the bed. I recently purchased a toe strap and a come along and a couple of D-rings based on your video about those things, because I took an adventure up to the top of a northwest mountain, and it was pretty treacherous. And when I got home and saw your video, I thought, I'm going to go out and buy those things just in case I get myself in a pickle. I can get out.
Good.
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind. Preparation.
Yes.
Lots of preparation gives you the best possible outcome.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot of things I'm still working on in here.
Right.
As you can see, this is the electrical system that I just installed. So it is kind of goofy and all over the place, and it certainly isn't bolted down yet, which it will be, folks, don't worry. Never fear. Right now I'm strapping it so I can get myself home, hopefully safely. And then I'll build the vented box and bolt it through the floor underneath, strap it all down really well.
Yep, one step at a time.
Yeah.
Well, Sassy, I think you've really covered it. You've just answered a lot of people's questions. How can you be safe? Can I do it myself? And your answer is yes, yes, yes.
That's right.
Go for it.
That's right. I don't have a no. I don't have a no for you.
Yeah.
I think if you want to do this, set your intention. That's the first thing, because when you set an intention, you're more likely to actually do it. If it's just a vague dream, it's possible it may not come true. And I do realize that I'm at a point in my life where I could set the intention. I'm no longer working. I've given up some of my volunteer responsibilities, so I've opened up my time frame, and that is also important. But this fan hopefully will show people who may not have a choice about living in a house, or, I mean, they may need to move into a van. And if that's your situation, I think what I've done here can be done for, well, step by step. It doesn't have to all be done at once, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. And you can be comfortable and safe and happy, productive, and relieved that you've solved some of your problems this way.
You'll never be homeless.
Never.
Whatever happens to the economy, you're okay.
I believe so.
Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing your home with us, and it's very inspiring.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay.